Welcome back to the channel, Malaysian motorists, and you join us here at Proton stand at the KL International Motor Show, ongoing from today until December 2nd at MITEC. Now in this video we are going to explore the Proton X70 as well as Perodua SUV, and we're going to talk about why these cars, though they may seem similar, are incredibly different when you look at them properly. In all of the excitement, in all of the news and the buzz surrounding these two very exciting models, it's easy to forget that Proton and Perodua were never designed to compete with each other in the first place. Proton was always envisioned to be a mass market player, the kind of car brand that could compete with people like Toyota and Honda and even Volkswagen for that matter. Perodua, on the other hand, was always conceived as a compact car brand, a car that would, or a mark rather, that would focus on value-driven products, the sort of car brand that could mobilize the masses. And for the most part, that's what they did. However, it wasn't that long ago when there were shots fired between the two companies. It was Proton that went on the offensive first, trying to chink a little bit of Perodua's success with the Myvi by launching the Proton Aruz, which was almost designed and envisioned and developed to be a Myvi competitor. And then, of course, in addition to that, Perodua retaliated too. While Proton was busy working on the Saga, they sharpened their skills and brought out the Beza, the first car that they had designed completely in-house from the ground up. And it was considered a very offensive shot from Perodua at that, because saloon cars had previously been the reserve of Proton alone. Of course, after that, Proton decided they were going to fire back. And so, to try and take away some sales from the Alza, a car that was recently refreshed and still enjoys very healthy sales figures, they brought about the Suzuki-developed Ertiga, which not only slips the mind of buyers according to recent sales statistics, but it also slips the mind of critics like myself. Now here at the KL International Motor Show, Proton is showing off its X70 to the public for the first time, following a series of previews with invited guests and members of the media. And while it's all great that members of the public are now able to touch, to feel, to sense, to understand and experience the X70 and what Proton is trying to achieve with its partnership with Geely, one cannot help but notice that just across from Proton's stand is Perodua. And sitting prominently on Perodua's stand, at the edge nearest to Proton, I might add, is that. Not the concept car, but that box over there. Now inside that box is Perodua's SUV, which we are made to understand will arrive in roughly the same time frame as the X70. Now while the two cars could not be any more different, the Perodua SUV is a 7-seater, it won't have a turbocharged engine, it will probably have the same drivetrain as the Perodua Myvi, and it will cost less than the X70, whereas the X70 is a 5-seater with premium features that will go up against mass market models and not budget cars. The comparisons that will be drawn between the two are inevitable. People are going to start talking about Perodua's SUV and Proton's SUV and start talking about the differences and similarities between the two, even though these two cars are competing on totally different planes. If you don't believe me that this is what's going to happen, let me take you back to the launch of the Proton Aruz, which oddly enough was the conception, or rather the beginning, of my automotive journalistic career. Just before the Aruz launch was the launch of the Perodua Axia, which, when that came out, followed by the Aruz, people were drawing comparisons between the two, even though the two products were totally different. Now, the reason why I'm going into so much detail about this is to try and prevent some really nasty arguments by people eventually when these cars hit the market. Now, Perodua's SUV is going to be a very impressive thing, no doubt. It'll be a 7-seater, the cheapest 7-seater SUV that money can buy, competing against cars like the Honda BRV, whereas the Proton X70 will, as I said earlier, compete against mass market brands such as Honda and Toyota in that segment. But the same way the comparisons are going to be inevitable, drawn by the general public, we will unfortunately have to feed that, and we will definitely put those cars head to head. Why? Because we're and we'll do it anyway. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button down below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell icon so that you are notified every time we make a new upload. Thank you so much. This is Abdullah from the KL International Motor Show. We'll catch you in the next video.